in the aftermath of this news.
Well, Martin, things here in Palm Beach are very paragraphs long, explaining how they feel about the death of Fidel Castro. Donald Trump just saying Fidel Castro is with an exclamation point at the end of that sentence. And we're told by transition staff that's all we should expect from the president-elect today. No further paper statement or anything on camera. But of course, this begins to raise questions as to how the Trump administration will handle this relatively new deal that the United States has with Cuba. Of course, there is still an embargo in place, but the Obama administration, through executive orders, has attempted to normalize relations between the two countries. And as you guys pointed out, Donald Trump was very critical of that deal during the campaign. Here's what he said in Miami back in September.
All of the concessions that Barack Obama has granted the Castro regime were done through executive order, which means the next president can reverse them. And that I will do unless the Castro regime meets our demands. Not my demands, our demands. You know what the demands are. Those demands will include religious and political freedom for the Cuban people and the freeing of political prisoners.
And there are two important things to pull out of that quote from Donald Trump. The first, of course, being that, yes, because these were all put in as executive orders without congressional approval, he has the power to pull them back. But the other point is that Donald Trump isn't necessarily opposed to the idea of normalizing relationships with Cuba. He just thinks the American people and the Cuban people deserve a better deal. So this will be an important policy issue to track in the early days of the Trump administration. Martin and Christy.
All right, Ryan, real quick, next week, pretty busy for the president-elect. What's in store?
Yeah, it starts right on Monday, Martin. We expect Donald Trump and his family to be here through tomorrow. They'll fly back to New York Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening. And then on Monday, he has 8 different meetings planned at Trump Tower. Vice President-elect Mike Pence will be there as well. Among the people that Trump will be meeting with, Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark. He is an African-American and a Democrat, but he was a Trump supporter and spoke at the Republican National Convention. He's also a big critic of the Black Lives Matter movement. Right now, it appears that Clark is being considered as the next Secretary of Homeland Security. Martin?
Very interesting. All right, Brian Nobles, thank you very much.
Still to come, it's another one of the most high-profile jobs the president-elect has to fill. Secretary of State, of course. Former mayors and governors and now even military generals are all in that mix. We'll talk about that.
Plus, President-elect Donald Trump threatening to undo efforts by President Obama to bring the U.S. and Cuba closer together. So what does Castro's death mean now for U.S.-Cuban relations?